Before you embark on your learning journey, it's a good idea to learn how you can navigate through the course interface and make the best use of the available features. When you access a module, you'll first view the landing page, which displays its title and the content structure. You can begin the module by clicking the Start Module button. This takes you to the first lesson. You can also view the content structure for each module in the left panel. Each module is divided into sections, and each section consists of lessons. You can also navigate to any lesson by clicking the lesson title in the menu. Note that you can go through the lessons in any order, and you can revisit them at any point. Keep in mind that to complete a lesson, you must scroll all the way down until you see the button that indicates the title of the next lesson. You can check your progress of the module at 2 levels. If you're looking for a specific topic, you can use the search feature. Videos are played using a custom smart player, which provides several features. The Captions button enables you to switch off or display the captions in one of the available languages. You can also customize the way captions are displayed by clicking on the caption settings. From here, you can increase or decrease the font size of the captions and even choose between different colors and transparency levels for the caption's text and background. If you prefer a faster or slower playback speed, you can change it in player settings. To navigate to other modules in the course, you click the Previous or Next buttons. You can also click the View Full Path button to view all of the modules available in the course. To complete a course, you must complete all of the modules that are marked Required. You're now ready to expand your learning horizons at UiPath Academy. Happy learning!
Hello and welcome back to the RPA Developer Production Ready Essentials training. In this video, we'll offer an overview of how the Robotic Enterprise Framework, also known as RE-Framework, can be used to process transaction items. For this demo, we want to dispatch data from an Excel file, create queue items, and process these items by filling details in the UI demo application. To start, we need to have a queue in Orchestrator. For the purpose of this demo, we've already created a queue named Demo Queue. Now we'll split this project into 2 sub-processes, one dispatcher and one performer. The dispatcher creates transaction items and pushes them to the Orchestrator queue, while the performer pulls each transaction item and processes its data by populating several fields in the UI demo application. Let's have a look at the dispatcher first. The main.xaml is already opened, showing that we have a sequence. The robot will read the Excel file and, for demo purposes, will add a new item into the queue for each of the first 10 rows. When this process is completed, we'll have 10 transaction items created in the demo queue. Now, let's move on to the Performer process. In this demo, we'll use the Robotic Enterprise Framework to create the Performer. To do this, we'll click on Start and enter the name that we want for the project. Okay, as you can see, we've just created the project. Let's take a moment to look at the main state machines that are used in ReFramework. First of all, we have the init state. At the start of the process, it reads the information from the config file, and then, if needed, gets the information from Orchestrator and opens the applications that will be used during the automation process. Now, you can double-click on the init state to get more details about its contents, or take a look in the project panel on the left-hand side at the dedicated framework folder. The workflows that are used in the init state are init all settings, init all applications, and kill all processes. The init all settings workflow is where you should load all your settings and data related to the applications or flows. One of the files used during this state is the config file, which is placed in the data folder of your project. It contains various information about settings, constants, and assets. These are used to process data and configure the ReFramework as needed, but you'll learn more about the config file in the ReFramework Deep Dive lesson. Now let's go back to our Performer. The init all applications workflow is the place where you can open your applications and check if they're behaving as expected. Otherwise, a system error can be thrown. For our demo, the UI demo process is killed in order to make sure a single application instance will be running during the Performer execution. If a system error occurred during the init state, then the system error path is followed and the process ends. If all the applications are started and configuration data is loaded properly, then the happy path named Success is followed, and the Performer can start processing queue items. This is where the Get Transaction Data state comes into play. If a stop request was issued from Orchestrator or there are no more items to be processed, then the No Data path is followed, and the process ends. Otherwise, if there are items waiting to be processed in the Orchestrator queue, the first item is pulled from the queue and, following the new transaction happy path, the process transaction phase is ready to start. Inside the process transaction state, the process.xaml workflow is invoked, and this is where all your processing logic takes place. Opening the Invoke Process Items workflow will show a type into application for every detail of a queue item. Now, there are 3 possible outcomes related to this state. No error occurs, and the next queue item is obtained via a new Get Transaction Data iteration, following the success path. A system error occurs, and the init phase is called in order to forcefully close all applications. Forcefully, because system error could mean an application is misbehaving, and then reopen all applications. No system exception is raised by the ref anywhere. One of the purposes of the ref is to catch and handle all exceptions. A business rule exception occurs, and the next transaction item is obtained via Get Transaction Data, the rule exception path. When there are no more queue items to process, the end process state is used, and here you can close all existing applications via the workflow named Close All Applications. If you want to understand more about how the Robotic Enterprise Framework works, take a look inside the documentation folder of your project, where you can further read the PDF file named ReFramework Documentation. You will also be able to get some hands-on practice with the ReFramework in the dedicated ReFramework Deep Dive course. Until then, thank you for watching. Goodbye.